Hello and welcome to a new video. Today we're going to take a look at Araquanid in the Spring Cup. Spring Cup is still available, sadly for a lot of people I would imagine, but we're gonna still take a look at a very strong team here. I stole the team again because I am not capable of getting any ideas for myself, so we're gonna take a look here at today's team, which is gonna be from Lostheart, and as far as I remember, I did those battles like 2 days ago or whatever. I actually battled her as well, so shout out to you as well. Very cool content creator, I think even partnered with Niantic, but a very interesting team here, which is going to have Araquanid in it. Araquanid actually, interestingly enough, is pretty highly ranked in the Spring Cup, which I did not really understand or like not really know before, because I actually thought this Pokemon would not be as great as a lot of Pokemon, for example a Tropius, for example an Empoleon, would be a little bit tricky, but honestly, just because of the insane amount of bulk that this Pokemon has, it's actually fairly solid. So if you have one laying around, maybe something that you want to try to consider for this cup. Of course, in the Open Great League, this Pokemon is currently a little bit tricky to play. Would need a different fast move. I would imagine like something like Bubble would be really cool for it, because you kinda need to get some damage onto Pokemon like Skarmory, onto Pokemon like Gligar, otherwise you're just going to struggle. Of course, this team here is going to have also Roserade, a Pokemon that I have not played yet, and I think my IV spread is really hurting me. As you see here on the top left corner, we're going to have the CP of 1466, and I'm fairly certain in a lot of scenarios this actually was not really ideal for me. But speaking of not really ideal, we're going to see here the Bombers now going for an Energy Ball, which is going to do a ton of damage against our Lantern. Not enough though, we can still go for one Thunderbolt. This is not going to take the knockout. We can swap out into our Araquanid. We do massive damage. Like honestly, like Bug Bite is just chunking away the health of the opponent. They can go for a Weather Ball, but Spark is going to do this job and we can move on into the next battle here. An amazing lead for us. Literally perfect lead. In comes a Tentacruel, and so we cannot really swap out, but we kinda have to swap out eventually. So I decided to go for the bait here just in case the opponent wants to go for a shield, and they decide to go for a shield. So I can swap out now into my Araquanid using this kinda as a damage sponge. What I have to say about the team as well though is that Roserade is running the wrong moveset. I wanted to run Grass Knot because I thought it's better. But Lostheart was running Leaf Storm, I think, because we at least battle her later on as well, I think, in this video, so it's going to be fun as well. But she was not running the same team, so it's not going to be a mirror match. But here we're going to see the matchup against Tentacruel. Not really ideal that they used a shield here, but I can still, I should went for the Bubble Beam to be fair. But at least I can let this move go through. We will see the Scald coming in here. I can go into my Lantern and farm them down. I have to hope that I can still somehow win this game. Let's find out here. The opponent swaps out into a Ferrothorn. Really bad for me. I can swap out here, and I guess in this scenario, maybe Grass Knot is better, but it really depends if we can knock them out with it. Grass Knot, of course, is going to be neutral, but Grass Knot does a way less damage than the Leaf Storm, but of course doesn't have the side effect of giving a debuff onto the attack. So let's find out. We can knock them out, and this is going to be amazing, as we can still even reach a Weather Ball. I went, on purpose for CMP here as well, which is going to allow us to do a ton of damage while taking some of the opponent's damage here as well. We have a Move Start on our Lantern. They're gonna go for the Power Whip. The Switch Dog is coming up, but Roserade is a very strong, and so we can even survive this one, go for a Weather Ball, knock them out, and win this game. Next opponent coming up, we're going to have a Tentacruel in the lead. Amazing for us. Let's see what is coming in. It's going to be a Trevenant. And here's the thing as well. I don't always know how to respond against all the Pokemon, because I wasn't really known with the matchups of Araquanid, because I just haven't played this Pokemon in like ages. It was actually really good when it first got released. There was like a meta where this Pokemon really was shining, which was like the Trevenant Walrein meta back in the day for like play Pokemon tournaments. I think I even brought it to a play Pokemon tournament. Very cool Pokemon back in the day. Just nowadays with all the flying type Pokemon, it's not really as ideal anymore. But hopefully eventually this Pokemon is going to get some more attention again. Here I had to hope that this was a Seed Bomb, and I had to hope that I can still survive this one after all the debuffs, and I can survive this, which is really nice for us, because now at least Lantern is going to encounter the Tentacruel, but they're going to have a Tropius in their bag, and this is going to be a little bit awkward, as the opponent makes a very interesting call, a call that I did not see coming, but a call that I would imagine is a very smart one, because what they went for is they went for the full farm down. They did not really care about us going for the charge move here at all. They know that we don't have a move yet on the Lantern, and I was thinking, oh, they're going to go for one more fast move then, and then I still need another fast move to go for another Leaf Blade, but no, they're actually going to be already at 2 Leaf Blades, and so I am not going to be able to reach that Thunderbolt in time, which I thought I would be able to. And so the opponent is going to be able to knock me out here. Great play by them, very well deserved win there for them, and we can move on to the next opponent. Pretty bad lead. Honestly, Ferrothorn is a little bit of a trickier Pokemon to deal with. For this team, in comes a Tentacruel. This is not really the ideal matchup for us either. We can go for a bait. Hopefully we're going to be able to get a shield from this. We can, which is great. Can we still reach a Grass Knot? We cannot, and so I decided to go for the bait again. Maybe they don't know about it. Maybe they don't know. They did know. And so we don't get 2 shields, but at least we're going to be able to get some energy from them as well. It's going to be the Scald, which is great. So this kind of tells me as well they're mostly running Scald as well as the Sludge Wave, which I should most likely shield here instead. But I am... oh no, it's actually going to be a Scald just now. That's going to be fine for us. We can go for the full farm down. That's great. I don't know why they did this. But I can now swap out. We have the Araquanid aligned against the opponent's Ferrothorn. Now we just have to hope that there is something in the back that we can still do some damage with our Lantern against as well. But by them staying in here, it's fairly likely that they're going to have something in the back where Araquanid might be decent against. And so I am a little bit scared at this point because it might be another Grass type. But let's find out what they're going to actually have in the back first. We're going to see the Power Whip coming through. They still have a shield, and it's going to be not a Grass type. It's going to be a Galissopod. A Pokemon I already made a video about, and a Pokemon where I already went on a 12-game win streak with. So very strong Pokemon in this meta, but just barely not strong enough to knock us out here. And so we can still go for the Bug Buzz. The Big Buzz is going to be able to get them fairly low. We have to hope that we can still survive a charge move from the opponent here as well, because they're going to have a move start with the Tentacruel. I wanted to say it's not a Tentacruel, it's a Ferrothorn, which is going to be great for us. By the way, the confusion is because of the German name for this Pokemon, which is very similar to Tentacruel. But yeah, we're going to see here that the opponent is not going to survive the Surf, and so we can win this game and we can move on to the next opponent. Next one coming in, we're going to have an Abomasnow in the lead, a pretty bad force, a really bad force to be fair, but they're going to have also a great matchup against our Roserade, which is not ideal for us, because they're going to outspeed us, they're going to do a ton of damage with our fast move already as well, and I'm not too sure if I'm going to use another shield, if I would actually be able to realign. Realignment for this team is pretty important, so also Softo said that you should use both of your shields most of the time on your Roserade, which is also the squishiest Pokemon, and like this we can actually decide to realign, which is going to be great, especially knowing that they're going to have a Lantern in the back. And so we're going to have Lantern against Lantern, and we're just going to have to hope. Oh, this did a lot of damage. I did not expect this, that they're going to have something in the back that I can deal with. It is going to be that Quagsire. Issue here is Quagsire has access to Stone Edge. While usually this would be a matchup like of a water and ground Pokemon where we would be great with our Araquanid, against Quagsire it's a whole different story, as they're going to have that super effective coverage move, which is going to be very annoying for me to deal with. So in comes now the Stone Edge, and then aside, I actually remember this battle as well. I kind of want to check something, because I'm curious if there would have been something that I could have done different here. Because, as you're going to see here, the opponent is going to be able to stay in here for a little bit. We can go for a Surf, but they're going to go for a charge move eventually here, and as I double debuffed, it's not going to do too much damage. As you're going to see, they overfarmed by quite a bit though, which is an interesting thing to do for them, but we will see that they're going to decide to swap out into their own Lantern. So here I needed one extra fast move to get to my own charge move, and I want to know if I went for that one extra, if I would be able to win the CMP tie against the Quagsire. Turns out I would not be able to, so no matter what, I would have lost this game. Next opponent, a great lead for us, or at least better than the Abomasnow prior. In comes a Trevenant again. Sadly, we don't really have the best answer. For the people who are screaming, why do you not go into a Roserade? Roserade has better coverage, as well as Roserade would be able to outspeed them. At least there has been one, I don't know if it's in this video as well, I don't know if it was cut out or whatever, but there has been one matchup where I went into the Roserade, and because of my IV spread, I would imagine, I got farmed down in the 2-shield scenario instead of being able to knock them out, so that's kind of why I also kind of would rather go into the Araquanid, I would say. But it is what it is. Maybe it is not the best idea to go into the Araquanid. I'm not too sure about it. But we will see here the 2-shield scenario where the opponent goes for a Shadow Ball. We can easily still survive this one. Farm them down, realign, get the Tentacruel against our Lantern while also getting some damage onto them, which is going to be great here. Or like, not really damage, but a debuff, so they're going to swap out anyway. They're going to have the Obama Snow on the back, and this is going to be a bummer because we are not going to be able to... Okay, that was kind of a pretty bad joke. We're going to not be able to go for another charge move with that. And so it is down to Lantern. We know that Lantern can survive an Energy Ball, but Lantern basically has to survive an Energy Ball, farm them down, go for a Thunderbolt, and then knock out the the Tentacruel then afterwards. And as you're gonna see, Thunderbolt is not going to do enough damage for that, and so we're sadly going to lose this battle, but well played by the opponent. We can move on into the next one. And here we have the battle against Lostheart as well, which is going to be interesting because, oh, what a surprise, the same lead. But I expect, of course, from her that she plays the exact same team that I play. And so I decided to go into my Roserade. They got some damage here on me as well, which is a little bit annoying. And so I can try to go ahead and go for a shield, maybe try to go for another Weather Ball. But they played like so smart here, which you're gonna see as well. Because of the extra damage and also most likely because my V-Split is just not really ideal for a Roserade, seeing by our CP. I don't have a better one, by the way. I'm just not going to be able to go for another one. And so I have to hope that basically my Araquanid is going to be fine for this task. Let's see. We're still gonna have to take a move here, but I expect that they have their own Araquanid in the back, and so I am not gonna use a shield. I'm gonna get some extra energy with my Lantern, and as you can see, they decided to go into their own Lantern, which is very good for us, but because they got some extra energy prior, they're going to outspeed me now. Again, very smart play there by Lostheart, as we can try to go for another Thunderbolt. It's going to definitely be a very close battle. Thunderbolt is coming through, going to do some decent damage there as well. In comes another Thunderbolt from the opponent. Here we will see that this is going to put us also fairly low, close to the red health range. Now we're in red health. We have to hope that basically this is going to be enough to knock out the Lantern. Let's find out. It is enough. And so we're gonna see in the back, it's going to be a Tentacruel. A Pokemon that I did not expect, but at least Thunderbolt is going to be super effective. And it's actually better for us because it's less bulky. And so I can swap out into my Araquanid. We have to hope that this is not going to be a Sludge Wave variant. Let's see, it is going to be a Scald. This is not going to be enough to knock us out, and so we can even reach a Bubble Beam. This is going to do a little bit of damage, not enough yet, but a little bit of damage, and so hopefully we can spark them down. We can spark them down and win with 1 HP and a dream. Final battle for the day, amazing lead, but this does not really mean anything as Roserade is a little bit of a trickier one. Like, here's the thing as well. If the opponent goes for Weather Ball in the beginning, happy days for you. But like, if they're not gonna go for it, you're gonna be kinda nuked away from Araquanid. And this is why also the Roserade is like played by so many top players in this meta. Like, while I was recording this gameplay, basically, I was somewhere in like the 100 range of the leaderboards as well. So we are battling against a lot of people who definitely know what they're doing. And so here the CMP tie was very unfortunate. I really did not want to have this, but it is what it is. I can still go for the Bubble Beam, knock them out with this one, most likely, and realign myself. But it's not going to be as ideal. It depends on what they're going to have in the back now. Let's see. They're, of course, going to go back into the Empoleon. There's no way that they're not going to do this. It is going to be, of course, the Empoleon. They can go for the full farm now. Try to go for the Bug Buzz. Let's see if we can still reach that. It is very unfortunate on how much energy they're actually going to be able to generate with that. In comes Bug Buzz, doing some nice damage. We don't get the debuff, and we can go back into the Lantern as they swap out into their own Lantern. In comes our own Roserade, and here actually Grass Knot might be the better play, of course, because we're not going to debuff ourselves. But here's the issue with Roserade. Roserade is a very, very squishy Pokemon. And so, honestly, I most likely should have just went for the Weather Ball the entire way, but I decided to go for a Weather Ball bait first, and then I decided to go for the Grass Knot immediately afterwards. And this was a little bit of a bad play by me, because we're gonna see here, this is not going to be enough, but also, if we just would put them a little bit lower with just another Weather Ball, which you would have been able to reach, we would have been fine here, because as we're gonna see next up, we're gonna try to go for a Surf to knock them out early. Last time it worked out, it doesn't work out this time around as well. Surf should be enough, right? No. With a 1 HP they survive, with a 1 HP they get the Thunderbolt off. And with this, you know already, Empoleon has so much energy. we needed basically one more fast move in order to get to another surf here, which you're gonna see now as well, as we can even go for another one. And we lose the CMP tile and lose because of this. Like, it was so unlikely to lose this one, but we still lost it at the end, so it is what it is. Hopefully you still enjoyed this video. Very solid team here. Shout out to Softoff, also links to her in the description, and I'll see you then. Bye bye.